so happy we alive.
Good evening and welcome to Louisville Late Night. This evening we're at the State Libertarian Convention of the state of Kentucky, and we're very pleased to have here with us some very active and interesting members of the Libertarian Party. For every member here, there's probably 1,000 or several thousand latent libertarians hiding behind bushes in Kentucky. And but anyway, we're here this evening for a very special reason. We're celebrating Louisville's 5th annual Lester Grinspoon Appreciation Day. And let me just briefly tell you about Lester Grinspoon Appreciation Day and who Lester Grinspoon is in case anyone doesn't know. Dr. Grinspoon is a professor of psychiatry emeritus at Harvard School of Medicine. He's authored more than 140 articles in scientific journals and 12 books, including his landmark studies of medicinal cannabis entitled Marijuana, the Forbidden Medicine, and Marijuana Reconsidered. A former editor of the Harvard Medical Health Newsletter, Dr. Grinspoon has also served as chairman on the National Board of NARML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Dr. Grinspoon has tirelessly traveled the world lecturing to medical students, public interest groups, and community leaders, helping to bring a greater understanding of this issue and an end to the prohibition of medical marijuana. Dr. Grinspoon is a frequent lecturer on drug policy issues in general and has appeared as an expert witness before legislative committees of several states as well as several committees of the U.S. Congress. In 1990, he received the Alfred R. Linda Smith Award for achievement in the field of scholarship and writing from the Drug Policy Foundation in Washington, D.C. In recognition of the Libertarian Party's unstinting efforts to remove the legal barriers to medical marijuana, Donna Mancini, state chairman of the Libertarian Party of Kentucky, is now hereby being presented with a copy of Dr. Lester Grinspoon's classic study, Marijuana, the Forbidden Medicine. This presentation is taking place right now. This is Donna Mancini, right here, and this is Dr. Grinspoon's landmark study, Marijuana, the Forbidden Medicine. Donna, I give this to you on behalf of the Libertarian Party here in the state of Kentucky, but also we entrust you to pass this message on to the citizens of Louisville, the citizens of Kentucky, and the world. And we are so very grateful for the Libertarian Party, though its numbers may be relatively few. The impact and the strength of the convictions behind the party are becoming ever more influential. And I'm just wondering if I could get you and Greg Holmes. Donna, incidentally, ran for mayor of Louisville this last term, and unfortunately she did not become mayor yet, but she certainly made a positive impact and had a lot of great ideas. And over here we have Greg Holmes, who is an attorney, and Greg is the vice chairman of the Libertarian Party here in the state of Kentucky. And I wonder if I could get the two of you all sitting next to each other. Maybe, yeah, right there would be fine, the two of you. And just step back, just keep going back there, Greg, and we'll have you. That's perfect. That's just perfect. And so anyway, I would like to start out here talking with the two of you guys. Just, you know, Kentucky has a long history with the hemp movement, and the hemp was critical in World War II, and now we have what's called freedom, and actually we're in the middle of a pharmacratic inquisition, and everything is the opposite of what it seems to be, what we get on the news. And anyway, could you tell us a little bit about libertarian philosophy and concepts and how that relates to the medical marijuana issue?
Well,
We'll
libertarians...
let Donna start and then we'll come back to Greg. How about that?
Libertarians believe in self-ownership of your own body. And basically, what any individual chooses to put inside their own body voluntarily should be their own personal business and their own choice. And any individual that commits a crime is a crime, but a person just ingesting any form of a substance is not a crime in itself, and therefore you should not be punished for any type of drug or any personal behavior that does not actually commit a crime upon another human being. So we feel not only for medical marijuana, but for any use of marijuana, it should be the person's individual business and not the government's business to tell people what they can and cannot do when they're not committing any kind of a crime.
So it's a matter of personal freedom.
Personal freedom. To choose to use marijuana just like they choose any other type of medicine. And marijuana has so many beneficial medical uses, it's very sad that people aren't given that choice.
Yeah,
it's so safe.
Right,
such a safe drug.
Like 75% of the general public supports it, and at the same time the government is just totally repressing. This past couple of weeks with the Supreme Court and Congress, it seems like they're going as backward as they can.
Right.
Is there hope with the Libertarian Party?
I think there's always hope, but I do feel that the government is completely out of control with their desire to regulate every aspect of a human being's existence. And I think that it's very sad because marijuana is the safest drug. No one's ever died from an overdose of marijuana, and it has so many good beneficial medical benefits. It helps people to eat. It helps nausea. It's good for pain control, glaucoma. I just find it very sad that our government wants to make criminals out of sick people.
It is a sad situation. What do you think, Greg?
Well, I think it's an interesting issue. The war on drugs in itself, of course, obviously libertarians, one of our cornerstone issues is to oppose the war on drugs. Prior to 1914, we didn't have a war on drugs. We had a small drug problem. Now we have had 91 years of prohibition of drugs, and we have a huge drug problem. As you say, 75% of the people support medical marijuana, for medicinal purposes. The problem is, and I think in many of our opinions, is that there's a huge industry that's grown up that makes a lot of money and has a lot of power because of the war on drugs. And to let one small crack in that huge edifice of the anti-drug movement, they feel would be something they can't surrender any of that power. So therefore they're afraid to relinquish even that small amount for medical marijuana, which would do nobody any harm and would certainly help many people. There is certainly a debate about medical marijuana. Everything that I've read and everything that I've come across pretty much indicates that it certainly has lots of benefits and lots of uses. There are people who have different opinions. What the libertarians would say is, if you think it helps you, use it. If you don't think it helps you, don't use it, but don't use the force and the guns of the government to compel somebody to do what they don't want to do or to do what you don't want them to do.
What about legally, as an attorney, do you feel like the government has the right to interfere in people's private health the way they have?
Well, that's another thorny question because obviously, if you look back at Prohibition back in 1920, at least the federal government was honest enough to say we don't have the constitutional authority to ban alcohol. So they went out and passed the 18th Amendment and got the states to ratify, and giving Congress the authority, however dubious and unwise it was, they at least went through the constitutional process. With the war on drugs, they haven't even made a pretense to do that. They just simply passed